Hello, darlings. Welcome back to another episode of Bedtime Stories. My name is Tracy, and I am your host. I'd like to apologize for it being several days since my last chapter I read. I have been feeling somewhat poorly, and I just haven't been reading to you, and I'm sorry. It happens that way sometimes. I do apologize, though. I strive to be consistent in all areas of my life and to uphold my obligations and what I've promised to do. And sometimes I fall short of the glory of my promises. So I do apologize. But here I am again, here to read you chapter 23 of I, the Wizard by Daniel McKnight. This book, I was given permission by Daniel McKnight to read this to you. He is the director of my short form improv team, and we will actually be performing tomorrow night, which is Wednesday, August 27th of 2026, at the IAMS Nature Center, Welcome Center, Visitor Center. I don't know. They got an air-conditioned room, and we're performing there. Doors open at 6:30. Show is at 7. And I think I don't remember if we're the openers or if we're the second act, but whichever. Scruffy City Improv Comedy Co. will be performing tomorrow at IAMS, along with 3 other teams, one of which is Casual Fridays, they are so funny. They make me, every time I see them perform, I kind of worry that I might, I'm laughing so much I worry I might piddle my pants a little bit. I am of that age. Not really, but I'm getting there, and it's a funny joke. Anyway, so chapter 23 of I the Wizard is coming up, but first I have to ask you a series of very serious queries. Have you gone pee in the potty yet? Did you brush your teeth? Have you got your water next to the bed? I got my water right here. I like to put a little bit of salt in it. I haven't done that yet. And so my water's not as good as I want it to be right now. But it's fine. Have you done your stretches? You got all that done already? Great job. I'm very impressed. Since I'm feeling poorly, this will be the only one chapter tonight. And there's nothing else to do. So we're going to just go ahead. Other than like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell if you feel so inclined. I would appreciate it very much. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, chapter 23. I must be getting old because I'm tired of thinking that the sun rises earlier than it should. I always do. Still, I got up, dressed, and went to the kitchen. It was quiet. Viv was not there, and the items from the wagon were exactly where I had put it the night before. Also, the plate of food I had left for her remained untouched on the table. After days of not wanting Viv to cook or wait on me, I have to admit I missed her. I was about to call out to her, but thought better of it. Figuring I could be a little less lazy, I put away the food that Viv had bought and cleaned up a bit. After that, I just got my horse and rode into the village with Ray's horse in tow. The blacksmith was on the far side of the village's shops and homes. I could hear the pounding of the hammer a long way off, so I knew he was in and on the job. I rode up and tied the horses to a rail outside the shop. Pretty much all blacksmith shops are the same, open on 3 sides with a central fireplace, bellows, and anvil, and rows of hand-forged iron goods hanging from the ceiling. Working on what appeared to be an axe head was the blacksmith. He was easily the largest man I had ever seen. He stood at least 6 foot 2 inches tall, was barrel-chested with biceps as big as a witch's cauldron. He looked up, saw me, and nodded his head as a way to let me know he knew I was there. After a few more hits with his hammer, he plunged the hot iron into a bucket of water. As the steam swirled around him, he took the iron out, examined it from all sides. Satisfied with what he saw, he put it back into the coals and turned to me. "What can I do for you?" he asked. "My horse threw a shoe. Wondering if you could take care of it." He walked over to Ray's horse, turned to me, and asked, "Which leg?" "Right front." He gave the horse a pat on the side, bent over, and lifted the foot. After a quick look, he said, "Yes, this shouldn't be..." Dagnabbit. Sorry. This shouldn't be a problem. I just have to finish up one job. I should be able to get your horse done by tomorrow morning. Good enough for you? Sure, that'll be fine. He walked over to me and stuck out his hand. Name's Pran. Boaz. You can call me Bo, I said as we shook hands. I noticed that his apron, although new leather, was piecemealed together, and it was held together with strips of rawhide tied in rough knots. Gesturing, I said, Looks like you need a new tailor. A bit embarrassed, he said, Yeah, old one was in pretty bad shape. The tanner's wife said they would make me a new one in trade. What she wanted was easy enough, so I said, Sure. They put this one together while they work on the new one. Flicking one of the knots with my finger, I said, Seems like they could have done a bit of a better job, even if it is temporary. She said they lost their old awl, and they needed it to make the holes in the leather to knit the whole thing together. That's what I made for her, an awl. It's also why the new apron is taking so long. They had to wait for it to be made here before they started. My new one should be done sometime this week. Pointing with his thumb, Pran added, That looks like Rhaenyra's horse. You a friend of his? I'm going to make the font just a touch bigger. Okay. Because like I said, I'm tired. I ain't feeling well. And for whatever reason, my eyeballs are not wanting to work right. You must be the only person in the village who doesn't know who I am. Yes, I was a friend. He was a good guy. Sorry about what happened to him. You know anything about his murder? No, just know it's a damn shame. Yes, well, I shrugged my shoulders. If I see you at Hannon's sometime, I'll buy you an ale. Thanks, but that's not likely to happen. You don't like drinking with wizards? Ain't that. I'm just not welcome over there. How could you not be welcome in a public house? You do something to anger Yurt? No, it ain't that. It's everyone else. The villagers don't like drinking when me and my husband are there. Makes them uncomfortable. Husband? Yes, husband, he said with a smirk. You still want to buy me that ale? Sure, bring your husband. I'll buy him one too. I make the people around here uncomfortable enough on my own. We can make everybody uncomfortable together. Pran had a big grin on his face as I turned and walked to my horse. Feeling like shite was beginning to become a habit, but accusing Viv of being a murderer was just another low point in a low operation. Hoping to make her and myself feel better, I thought I would buy her a present. The all-purpose merchant for the village was open, so I headed there. I opened the door to the wooden building and walked in. Grisha, Skeet's wife, was at the counter, yelling at the lady behind the stand. You said that the fabric would be in by now. You can't expect me to go around in this much longer, can you? She asked, lifting her arms to display the rough woven dress she was wearing. I'm sorry, said the vendor. I was told it would be here by yesterday, but haven't had any shipments arrive for a while. I'm hoping that the wagon wasn't waylaid by robbers. Robbers? I saw a merchant wagon here just last week, Grisha said. That was a traveling merchant. They like to sell their own goods. Besides, that one didn't have any clothing or fabric, only pots and the like. Don't you have another garment? It was ruined, Grisha said. It had a huge oil stain all over the front. I had to throw it away. Throw it away? Because of a stain? You could have... Oh, never mind, Grisha blurted. Just let me know when it comes in. She turned away and started to walk to the door. Noticing me, she spat on the floor by my feet before stomping out. Looks like I'm all kinds of popular, I said to the lady behind the counter. I wouldn't worry about it too much. She's known around here to be a bit of a madcap. What can I do for you? After I explained the situation to her, she looked over some jewelry and knickknacks, but nothing seemed to be appropriate. I do have one thing you might like, she said. It's a little expensive, though. Walking behind the counter, she pulled out a glass globe on a wooden base. Inside it was a single red rose. I'm not sure how this is made, she continued, but it is a real rose, and it's supposed to last forever. It's sealed in there with some kind of liquid. I took it out of her hands and looked it over. This is perfect. How much? 1 silver coin. I'll take it, I said, handing it back to her. I reached into my robes and pulled out 2 silver coins and put them on the counter. If you could wrap it up in something nice, I'll be back to pick it up later. That's too much money. Wrapping is free, she said, pointing to the coins. If you make it look good, you can keep it. Well, now, when you come back, I'll have a real bottle of honey mead and a couple of cups. I was hoping for a reason to open it. You can make sure the wrapping looks okay, and I can close a little early, she said with a sheepish smile on her face. I might just do that, I said as I walked out the door. I never could understand why women found me attractive. I'm not tall, 5'10" on a good day, ordinary face with a flat nose, brown eyes, and wild, short brown hair. Not to mention the fact that I have always considered myself kind of brutish. I'm not complaining, mind you, just confused. Once outside the shop, I looked up and down the street. I had at least a couple hours to spare, and I had no idea where to go next. Nothing was adding up. I was thankful when I noticed Petch's horse tied up outside of Hannon's. Maybe he had some news from his trip. I entered the inn and saw him sitting at the bar. "Hey, Bo," he said. "I was going to go to the cottage, but I was hungry." "Not a problem. Did you find out anything?" The sheriff confirmed Ravenstone's story. He was locked up at the time. I sat down next to Petch just as Yurt put a mug of ale in front of me. I thought so, and shrugged my shoulders. "What are we going to do next?" Petch asked. Shaking my head, I said, "I don't know. I think it's time we packed up and went home. I've done all I can do here." We both sat in silence as Petch ate and I drank. Every once in a while, he would start to say something, think better of it, stop and pop a piece of cheese into his mouth. After a while, I called Yurt over. "Are we all good here? I mean, do I owe anything more? Did I give you enough to cover everything?" "Believe me, Bo, you are good." "Okay, thanks." I turned to Petch. "You head on back to Ray's. Tell Viv I'll be back in 2, maybe 3 hours." "Sure, Bo. Anything. Sure, Bo, sure. Anything I can help with?" "No, I don't think so. I'm just going to pick up a present for Viv, but it might take a while," I said as I headed back off to the general store. And that's the end of chapter 23. I hope you enjoyed it. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bedbugs bite. And if they do, you defend yourself. You're worthy of defense. You are valuable and important. I love you. Good night.